Mission Hospital. I'm new to the organization, so I didn't have the privilege of knowing Dr. J, though I've heard great things about him. When we talk about remembering people, especially people that I think we lose too soon, this is a great way for us to honor him and his memory. I think our caregiver team here, as I've heard stories about him in the OR and on the floor and how he treated and interacted with the team here at Mission Hospital, but also with our physician colleagues, and in particular our patients, a deep appreciation and love for everything that he did in his time that was, I think from everyone's perspective, too short here. So thank you for being here today in really his memory and being able to honor him, I think, in a really remarkable way. And John, I'm going to ask you if you, Dr. John Shaver, could you make some comments as well?
Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Haddad, for your generous celebration of Jay's life. Jay, for those of us who got to work alongside him, were truly blessed, because Jay was professional, he was a great friend, he was responsible, he was excellent, he was approachable, he always gave everyone his ear. It didn't matter how important the question was, if you directed a question to Dr. J, he was going to listen to you. And that relayed a lot of his success, is that he was such a great listener. He could figure out what was wrong with patients because he listened. You know, when we go to medical school, you know, we learn about all these tests, CAT scans, MRIs, and PET scans, and so on. But it truly is just your ears, listening to patients, and you will find out what's wrong with them, you know, 98% of the time. And so Jay was the epitome of being able to do those kinds of things. He was always there for patients. There was never a time, you know, that unless he was, you know, you couldn't wake him up or something, and he liked to sleep. But there was never a time that he wasn't there for you when you needed him most. And Mrs. Haddad knows that so much. But, you know, definitely a life way too short, but Jay lived his life more than most of us will have in a lifetime. You know, he was, again, you know, when I talked last year, I said, you know, Jay was not about things or stuff. That had no bearing on, you know, his like outlook in life. It was about people and relationships. You know, he loved his family just amazingly. He flew all over the place to join them and go to trips and have fun and so on. And but he was about just relationships, and he was such a dear friend, and you know, we miss him dearly at this 1-year anniversary. We have lots of pictures of him in the hospital here, and it just every time you see them, it's a reminder of those really incredible things that he brought to this center, and that I hope to have learned something by, and will apply to my life, because I learned a lot from Jay, even though he was such a young person. So this is just an amazing and rightful dedication to such an incredible young surgeon, and we won't miss him.
We express our thanks to Dina and Emil Haddad for their generosity in allowing us to share this dedication. And just as Dr. Shaver has shared about what he meant to us as a hospital, as a ministry, perhaps the Haddads could share a word in terms of what he has meant to them as a patient.
You want to go or do you want me to go? Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here to honor a very quiet hero And special thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Sanampudi, to you, Sangeet, for making the trip, but more importantly, for giving us the honor to know Dr. Sanampudi. A little bit over 2 years ago, Dr. Patel walked into the room and realized that something very serious was happening with Dina. And he immediately called for a surgeon. Shortly after that, a man walks in of Indian origin wearing cowboy boots. And a few minutes later he said, we need to go into surgery immediately. Anyway, the world stopped for me. And then I looked in Dina's eyes, and I saw a look that was very familiar. One that said, I'm good, I trust you. And then the words came out. And she said, I trust you. You know, for over 30 years, I had not trusted the well-being of the most important person in my life to anyone. But Dr. Sanampudi wasn't anyone. There was a certain aura about him that told you that everything's going to be fine. Well, we spent 18 days in this room together. And no matter how tough things were, when Dina would hear the distinguished noise of his boots approaching, she would smile, and it's as if all the pain and discomfort just disappeared. You know, to you, Dr. Sanampudi, I wish we had more time to spend under different circumstances. But I can tell you, excuse me, I can tell you that your memory will always live in the laughter of my wife and our family. Godspeed. She struggled with this, but she wants to do something. I want to tell you, she wrote this shortly after his passing.
I wrote this shortly after passing, where I couldn't really think or write properly, so do not make fun of my English or anything, but it just came from my heart at that time. So, the man who saved my life found his rings and said goodbye. Words I cannot, my heart aches, words I cannot make, but my memory no one will take. When I was lying there in pain, having doubts that I will remain, in your blue doctor suit you came, and I looked up and gazed into your eyes, and I knew that I'm not gonna die. October is when I opened my eyes, realizing that I'm still alive. 12 months later, the storm was at its peak, and a halo over your head appeared. Bitterness, anger, rage, or hate, or is it not sadness, sorrow, or pain? Millions of thoughts are in my brain. Why can't only one gain? This is goodbye was the last sentence you chose for me. Is this perhaps what you were telling me? In the dark nights, I sit and wonder that 39 years is way too younger. The beautiful scars on my body you drew, every day will be a reminder of you. I will forever cherish you, Jay. I will raise my hands and pray, and I will accept and honor God's way. So.
Thank you, Dina. That was lovely.
Would you pass this around for anybody?
At this time, I would like to ask the Haddad and the Sanampudi family to join Lisa in the room for a blessing. Lisa is the Director of Spiritual Care here at the hospital, and will perform the blessing.
more than that trauma person, that surgical person who joined us in 2010. He quickly took our hearts. He lived in each and every one of us, whether you were colleagues, whether you were friends, whether you were patients. Jay knew and loved everyone for who they were, demonstrated compassion, kindness, caring. He exemplified that for each and every one of us. And here it is 1 year later, and we continue to share that love that Dr. J has left with us. In conversation with Sanjeev last week, the prayer that we said last year is no different. May we continue to live with Jay's compassion. It will live in this room. It will live in all of our halls. Thank you, and thank each and every one of you who continue Jay, his work, his heart, and his ministry. And for a blessing for this room, I do ask Jay's dad to say a few words.
On behalf of Sanampudi family, my sincere thanks to Dina and Emil Haddad for their generosity to dedicate room 324 in memory of Dr. Jane Sanampudi. I also want to thank Mission Hospital staff and management team for keeping Jay's memory alive. I met some of the staff, office staff, surgery center and hospital. One thing I can see is their emotional touch with Dr. J. And their words, his kindness, his laughter, and sounds of notorious cowboy boots. They all remember Dr. J. My hope is room 324 will have, over the years, have a special significance. And hopefully, Dr. J. Sanampudi's memory and Mission Hospital will be intertwined forever. I want to thank all of you for coming and providing your support for over the last year in the difficult times. Thank you. Once again, thank you, Dina and Emil, for your kindness to make this day possible.
And now if Dina and Mrs. Sanampudi would come and unveil the plaque. Take it on the side and put it away. Yes. For those of you who cannot see it from a distance, in honor of Jayanth Dr. J. Sanampudi, MD, Dina, Emil, Serene, and Mark Haddad. This concludes this portion of our remembrance. We are going to continue with lunch at the Montage Hotel in Laguna Beach. The Haddads have graciously invited all who are able to join. And so if you will make your way to the hotel and meet us there, I am going to ask that the Haddad family and the Sanampudi family remain for a private moment that we're going to have. And so feel free to go ahead. You'll have an opportunity to speak with them and greet them more at the hotel. But we do have a special remembrance specifically for them before they proceed to the hotel. It's been said that the importance of companionship, that the joys are doubled and that sorrows are halved. And I want to thank all of you for being part of this occasion. Because truly, as you gather and support one another, the joys are doubled and the sorrows are halved. Thank you. God bless you. And for those of you who are able to be with us for lunch, we'll see you in Laguna Beach shortly. Thank you.
I will do my best to be able to make it in the midst of surgery, actually.
Okay, so we want to take your cousins with us down to the OR. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay. I think what we'll do is we'll go down the staff elevator. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had a dream that I was really shook up about it. I see that he said everything was okay. It looked really good. Sorry for your loss. I worked with Jay pretty closely. Yeah. We'd have breakfast every morning together. I wasn't there like a year ago because I couldn't deal with it very well. You know. I think Sandesh. Sorry to hear that. So I had this like.
You lost me so many times.
Because I